Hi everybody, we're here today at Sapsucker Nature Park in Penn Township, and this park here is known to have a large number of all sorts of different types of tree species. We have well over 100 different types of trees here at Sapsucker Nature Park. And one tree that I want to show you here, we found something very interesting here. If you look at this Norway maple, you'll see what is looks like a bunch of parallel holes that runs along the bark and trunk of this tree, right? And it looks like maybe someone came by and sort of drilled inside there, and that is not done by a human being. That is done by a bird that we have here in Western Pennsylvania that sometimes overwinters or migrates through our area, called a yellow-bellied sapsucker. And like the name suggests, they like to get the insects that are attracted to these sap wells, as well as lapping up some of the sap. But it's not just maples that they go to. In fact, they go to a number of different trees, and one right over here from this maple that we just looked at, this is a Scots pine, and obviously a tree that has resin that comes out of its sap, right? But you could see that this, or a sapsucker in the past, has also made sap wells here on this tree that is doing the same thing, eating the insects that are attracted to those sap wells. And here we are at a red maple here that you can, if you look a little bit closer here, can see some of our own previous sap wells that we had tapped in the past. And you can imagine in the past, right, when indigenous people that lived here in Western Pennsylvania and Eastern North America were observing these sapsuckers and coming up, tasting this sap, they would notice, particularly some times of the year when you get the right weather conditions, right, when you have freezing nights and days that warm up above freezing into the 40s, that even sometimes when that sap would freeze, it would taste more sugary than it would at other times. Right? This tree has sugar, but it is not as highly sought after as, say, a sugar maple that does produce higher sugar levels in its sap. And here we are at a pretty mature apple tree here. Apples are among a large number of different trees that sapsuckers love to put wells in. A whole host of different types, from ashes to maples to, of course, apples to your right. And what's interesting here is we think that the indigenous people that lived here in Eastern North America were obviously very connected to the natural world and observed not just all of the living plants and animals around them, but especially what some of these animals like sapsuckers were doing to trees around them. And there is some evidence from indigenous people themselves that they may have learned how to make maple sugar by watching sapsuckers drill the well, and of course themselves going up and tasting that sugar from a sugar maple, going, hey, this might be a resource that we can use. And here we're at an actual sugar maple here at Sapsucker Nature Park. And you can see here the bark is a lot more furrowed. It's very different than what you would find in a red maple. And if you look close enough here, you can see some of our past times where we have actually tapped into the tree. And if it is done properly, right, the tree will naturally heal itself. You can see some of these calluses from past years, making it sometimes very difficult to see where we have tapped. The tree will naturally heal itself out, keeping out fungus and bacteria and other things that hurt the tree. So if it's done properly, there is no harm to the tree whatsoever, and you get a very nice sugary treat after the end result of tapping. And here we are at a grove of pretty mature yew trees. This is a non-native tree, most likely from Europe. And what you see here is another line of sap wells that were drilled probably in the spring or maybe the fall from yellow-bellied sapsuckers that were moving through here at Sapsucker Nature Park. And you can see their handiwork there as they have really gone through these pretty mature groves of this non-native tree species, right? What the sapsuckers are doing here, like we suggested, is really laying a trap and having insects that are attracted to sweet stuff, right, come to these sap wells, and the sapsuckers then will mine those little wells of all of those goodies of protein, and also again at times some of the sugar. So as you may have seen before, woodpeckers putting holes in trees, often dead trees, right? Sapsuckers have a different strategy, and this is using the tree sap as it flows in both the spring and the fall to reel in insects and then them take advantage of the bounty of nature.